A few months back, Amakawa Kisuke, a 25-year-old company employee, rubbed his tired forehead while a junior coworker sat beside him doing overtime. The junior asked if the translation work was still unfinished, and another coworker peeked in asking whether Kisuke had completed his tasks yet. His coworkers mocked him behind his back, saying he barely understood English, Chinese, or French, yet the general manager expected an overseas expansion built entirely on his shoulders. The manager told him to keep up the good work and mentioned heading home early because his wife was upset, leaving Kisuke stunned at the unfairness. Alone at his desk near 2 in the morning, Kisuke complained that having no friends or lover meant nobody minded him being buried in constant overtime. He woke up outdoors, yawning under sunlight filtering through trees, confused about why he was lying on the ground instead of his office chair. Sitting up among the trees, Kisuke wondered where he was and questioned if this strange, refreshed feeling meant his body had actually rested well for once. Realizing his phone was missing and noon had already passed, he panicked, remembering the unfinished work deadline waiting back at his company desk. Wandering through a rocky cave, he spotted a robed figure sitting and called out excitedly, relieved to find another person nearby. The figure rose to reveal an enormous muscular man, and Kisuke apologized for interrupting his rest, only wanting to ask for simple directions. The giant's expression twisted into hunger as he leaned closer, calling Kisuke tasty, leaving him frozen in confused terror at the sudden threat. Kisuke sprinted through the forest as the monstrous man chased him, swinging wild punches, gasping in disbelief that something so inhuman actually existed here. Catching his breath on a cliff overlooking a walled coastal town, Kisuke stared at the unfamiliar scenery and asked himself if he had truly reincarnated. Standing before the city of Manfang, he recalled his dull, exhausting old life and wondered whether dying at his desk had led him into this new world. Gripping a weapon with excitement, he declared this was finally his chance to fulfill his childhood dream of becoming an adventurer. Raising his fist, Kisuke shouted. Unaware nearby townsfolk quietly whispered that the odd foreigner seemed strange, marking the start of his new life. A few months later, an innkeeper scolded him for being useless, ordering him to move a box while Kisuke apologized and promised to work faster. Exhausted from endless menial chores just to earn a modest living, Kisuke sighed heavily, questioning why nothing had gone according to his expectations. He recalled visiting the Adventurers Guild eagerly at first, hoping a powerful cheat skill from his gaming past would make him unmatched among everyone. Instead, the crystal ball revealed his only skill was knowing this world's language, nothing impressive or special beyond that disappointing truth. Patrons at the tavern whispered about a man-eating wolf called FAFNIR, describing its terrifying speed and huge fangs while a monster had recently appeared near the city. A drunk man denied knowing details when questioned, though someone wondered why such rumors kept spreading if nothing dangerous actually existed out there. Kisuke reminded himself to feel thankful for having food every day, admitting the city treated him poorly but still felt safer than facing dangerous monsters outside. Frustrated, he grabbed his own hair, complaining that being reincarnated in another world still left him treated like a slave with no real freedom. Despite spending all his savings, he proudly obtained a used steel sword and wooden shield, cheering loudly over his very first adventuring equipment. Walking through the forest, he reasoned that lacking any cheat skill meant slowly raising his level without facing a dangerous strong monster right away. Spotting movement among the trees, he recognized a goblin and figured even someone weak like him could handle such a low-level monster. More goblins suddenly appeared from the shadows, startling him as he braced himself. Realizing this fight would not be as simple as expected, surrounded by cackling goblins, he swung wildly in panic, questioning whether these creatures were truly considered weak monsters at all. Picturing his old manager's harassing face helped him gather strength. Admitting treating this dangerous world like a game had become a risky mindset. Imagining his manager's expression plastered onto every goblin, his fighting spirit surged, despite finding the imagined resemblance thoroughly gross and unsettling. Gripping his sword tightly, he declared he would release every bit of personal anger through each swing of the blade. Shouting about overtime slash, he defeated one goblin instantly, though relief quickly faded once he realized more still remained. Standing nearby, screeching goblins lunged together, and he begged for someone to tell him a group attack would not be truly impossible to survive. After a fierce clash, the goblins collapsed onto the ground, leaving him confused about why they fainted without explanation. A massive gust swept through the area, sending goblins flying while he wondered aloud what powerful force had just arrived. The relentless wind flung goblins through the air, crushing them beneath something enormous, stomping closer through the shaking trees. A towering wolf loomed above him, and he realized in horror that the terrifying rumors about the man-eating monster were true. The wolf's massive snout hovered close, and he tried to stay motionless, silently insisting to himself that he was merely a tree. The wolf sniffed him, declaring he smelled nice and looked tasty, sending him into a full-blown scream of terror. Kisuke desperately claimed his blood was muddy and organs rotten, insisting he tasted extremely bad and had nothing worth eating on his body. The wolf paused mid-attack, surprised he could speak its language, then asked directly whether he truly understood its words. The wolf assured him it would not eat humans, remarking how rare it was to meet one with such language skill. Catching his breath, Kisuke recalled his skill screen, realizing his ability let him understand every language, even monsters speaking around him. He remembered the goblins had spoken few simple words earlier, and the wolf noted he apparently never noticed that detail before. The wolf explained intelligent monsters with complex vocabulary like itself were rare, adding the words one could speak depended entirely on intelligence level. The wolf suddenly asked what smelled so interesting inside his bag, leaning closer while he nervously begged it not to look. Pulling out his sandwich, Kisuke asked nervously whether that pleasant smell earlier came from this ordinary meal he still carried. The wolf howled excitedly, describing the sandwich as soft and gooey, admitting its own vocabulary had temporarily failed from sheer excitement. He offered the sandwich, and the wolf devoured it happily, calling it tasty despite Kisuke worrying the cheap bread might disappoint. Licking crumbs contentedly, the wolf admitted it had not eaten such a satisfying meal in a very long time. The wolf explained normally eating bugs and swamp lizards, occasionally trying goblins once, though tree bark sometimes offered variety. The wolf shared how its parents once harmed humans long ago, leading knights to form a subjugation force vowing endless revenge. Its parents were eventually defeated, leaving the wolf alone afterward, wandering forests without any companions ever since that day. The wolf insisted being alone was easier, and simply how things should be, claiming it never truly considered feeling lonely at all. Kisuke pointed out how talkative the wolf suddenly became, noting having no one to speak with sounded genuinely boring over time. The wolf admitted surprise at being listened to, mentioning it had been a long time since anyone offered real conversation. Laughing, Kisuke asked if the wolf ever noticed its own loneliness, earning an annoyed remark calling him a strange guy. Realizing he had left without permission and still had unfinished work, Kisuke decided reluctantly it was time to head back. The wolf accepted their parting, acknowledging humans followed their own paths. While Kisuke walked off toward returning home, Kisuke offered to feed the wolf various treats, describing delicious things existing in the human town, sparking immediate excitement in the wolf. The wolf drooled uncontrollably at hearing more tasty food, insisting someone with its pride would not simply accept things given so easily. Worried about his dangerous journey home, the wolf offered to follow him, mentioning its family believed evil always returned eventually to those responsible. The wolf promised to demonstrate escaping human detection cleverly, while Kisuke appreciated the concern despite fearing bringing it might cause serious trouble. Suddenly, a powerful whirlwind engulfed the wolf, leaving Kisuke stunned and confused about what exactly was happening before his eyes. The swirling wind intensified around the wolf's body, twisting its massive form into something entirely different, shocking him completely. Once the wind cleared, a beautiful young woman with fox-like ears stood where the wolf previously had been. She explained this transformation was shape-shifting magic, admitting it reduced her power slightly but felt surprisingly comfortable overall. Kisuke panicked realizing she was female, and she teased him for seeming oddly scared, questioning why he reacted so strongly. She proposed protecting him in exchange for delicious food, calling it the perfect arrangement despite still speaking somewhat awkwardly. Excited about the favor, she declared she would happily pay using her own body without hesitation. Kisuke covered her using cloth, annoyed by her carelessness, while she insisted equipment was unnecessary since she remained strongest regardless. Tying the cloth, she dragged him toward the human town, declaring proudly she had made her first friend. Kisuke walked through the checkpoint gate when a rabbit-eared girl leaped down with loud howls, startling the guards standing near the entrance. The guards panicked at her strange cries, but Kisuke stepped in and claimed he could translate her confusing words for them. He explained she was a foreign visitor who had been staying in the city for a while, prompting suspicious questions from the guard about her origin. Kisuke assured the guard she only wanted to see the place, praising the food, scenery, and kind people while offering to translate everything for her. The guard studied her unusual clothing, muttering about her odd outfit before deciding she did not look dangerous after all. Satisfied enough, the guard let them through, warning her not to cause trouble as they crossed beneath the old stone archway. After enduring another tedious luggage inspection, Kisuke sighed in relief once the guards finally let them pass and continue walking forward. The girl marveled at the crowded street full of humans, but she wandered off while Kisuke reminded her to behave and stay close. Kisuke searched through the bustling town, eventually finding her about to eat something questionable picked up from a nearby stall. He scolded her, insisting she wait for his signal before acting, and she agreed to follow his instructions from that point on. Curious about the local hierarchy, she asked Kisuke who ruled this place, insisting she needed to properly greet whoever held that position. Kisuke struggled to recall the nobleman's name, fumbling through several wrong versions while she watched his confusion with quiet amusement. She teased him for forgetting such an important name, demanding he tell the truth, and grew impressed once he finally remembered it right. Suddenly, a tattooed man in a heavy coat appeared with followers trembling nearby, making her wonder aloud if he was the boss. Kisuke quickly corrected her, revealing these men were only troublesome gangsters controlling the street, not the actual ruler she was seeking. The gangster leader stopped and turned back after noticing something odd, demanding to know who this strange rabbit-eared woman actually was. Kisuke apologized quickly and insisted they meant no trouble, but the gangster growled back, asking if she was mocking him. The man mocked Kisuke, suggesting he put a collar on his so-called pet, then grabbed his collar while provoking the girl further. Losing patience with his poor explanations, she punched the gangster leader hard, insisting his terrible descriptions caused this entire mess. Chaos erupted as the gangster's furious men surrounded them, snarling threats of violence while onlookers realized a real fight had begun. Kisuke grabbed the girl's arm and dragged her away, shouting for her to run as the gangsters chased them through narrow streets. She protested that they could easily beat these men, insisting fighting them would leave nothing but scattered pieces behind. Unsafe near Hinadori Inn, Kisuke exhaled in relief and warned her that fighting inside the city would only cause trouble. He explained that appearing dangerous could get her kicked out, then noticed she had already piled her plate again with food. She praised human food for its strange mystery and endless flavors, while he pointed out her appetite drained his money fast. Confused, she asked what money even meant, prompting Kisuke to explain that clothes, food, and lodging all required payment daily. He revealed he worked hard every day just to earn 2 silver coins, and her current meal cost a full coin. Realizing she now owed Kisuke a huge debt, she grew embarrassed but could not stop her hand from eating more food. She promised to start saving money, though Kisuke doubted her seriousness given how carelessly she treated the subject already. When asked her name, she claimed creatures like her did not need one, since only legendary FAFNIR carried actual names. She then asked Kisuke to pick a cool name for her instead, insisting she truly did not care either way. Startled by the sudden request, Kisuke thought hard while she waited, until he finally settled on the name Shiro. She loved the name, striking a proud pose while declaring it absolutely perfect for someone like her. Kisuke explained the name reflected purity and strength, comparing it to Pororo, the legendary hero from the FAFNIR family. Back at the inn, Kisuke called out to the landlady, a relaxed elf woman smoking calmly near the doorway. He introduced Shiro, explaining she planned to stay around the city a while longer under his care. The landlady marveled at meeting someone from the beast race, tugging her ears while wondering why she stayed silent. Kisuke clarified Shiro spoke her own native language, and he would translate everything between them from that point onward. He mentioned the landlady always helped him find work, so he hoped to secure something quick since Shiro ate constantly. The landlady offered a job requiring real physical strength, teasing that such work seemed difficult for an ordinary woman. The landlady doubted a woman could handle heavy work, but Kisuke insisted Shiro possessed surprising strength despite her ordinary looks. The next morning, Kisuke reminded Shiro that carrying luggage was simply her assigned duty as they approached the docks together. A gruff foreman shouted orders at the workers, demanding every crate get loaded onto the ships before evening arrived. Shiro received her instructions and cheerfully accepted the task, promising Kisuke she understood exactly what needed to happen. She lifted an enormous crate with ease, calling it nothing more than a light workout before breakfast each morning. While Kisuke struggled carrying single boxes, Shiro wondered aloud why nobody simply carried several crates together instead of one. Curious about her limits, Kisuke asked how many boxes she could actually manage carrying at the same time. Workers tied a massive stack together, and Shiro lifted it effortlessly, amazing everyone watching her handle such heavy loads. Nearby, gang members recognized her from before, pointing out this same troublesome woman to their boss standing close by. The boss recalled his humiliating fall in front of a crowd, still holding a grudge and demanding payment for his embarrassment. Shiro swung past carrying stacked crates overhead, prompting the gangsters to reconsider ever picking a fight with someone so strong. By day's end, the foreman thanked Kisuke sincerely, admitting the delayed shipments had nearly stranded several ships at port. He handed over their earned coins, expressing genuine gratitude that all the difficult work finished so quickly today. Meanwhile, another worker dismissed Kisuke's effort as unremarkable, giving him only 2 silver coins despite his exhausting labor. The foreman then presented Shiro's much larger share, and she stared at the heavy bag filled completely with coins, impressed by her incredible output. The foreman praised Shiro's usefulness, imagining how much money they would earn working together. Shiro happily offered her entire reward to Kisuke, insisting he simply take everything she earned that day without question. Confused about its actual value, she pushed the coins toward him anyway, thanking him for teaching her much about city life. Kisuke refused, insisting she deserved to keep money earned through her own hard work rather than giving it away. Shiro suggested treating him to food instead that night. Though she admitted still feeling uneasy about accepting his refusal, the foreman told them to eat, enjoy free time, and return later, admitting he understood none of their strange conversations. Kisuke shook the foreman's hand as thanks, prompting confusion from Shiro while the man appreciated her help throughout the day. Kisuke explained handshakes meant wanting to keep getting along, showing her exactly how humans held hands together. Shiro gripped his hand with crushing strength, leaving it numb until Kisuke desperately clarified he meant something far softer. She mentioned her own family shared a similar greeting custom. Right before something round and bouncy suddenly appeared near them, Shiro bent forward, insisting Kisuke sniff her rear as a genuine FAFNIR greeting representing deep trust between close companions. Confused onlookers watched Kisuke kneel awkwardly, marking the beginning of their reputation as 2 strange foreign perverts around the docks. Dawn arrived gradually as Kisuke tried waking Shiro from deep sleep inside their inn-room. Mentioning breakfast instantly altered everything, leading Shiro eventually opening tired eyes without resistance today. Still half asleep, Shiro heard cautiously as Kisuke readied plans for another morning outside together. Sudden eagerness overtook Shiro instantly following learning breakfast mentioned, abandoning her previous lazy attitude. Recalling beforehand journeys boldly, Shiro encouraged Kisuke despite memories involving dangerous goblin encounters previously. As devouring silently, Kisuke confessed surviving alone felt impossible before meeting powerful Shiro previously. Driven by Shiro's power, Kisuke dreamed growing independent, instead, obeying tougher people constantly throughout life. Thrilled by adventure possibilities, Shiro tolerated Kisuke's request growing journeying adventurers together starting immediately. Shortly, Kisuke led Shiro towards the Explorer Guild located within bustling city districts nearby. Learning association explanations cautiously, Shiro instantly showed excitement toward dangerous monster subjugation missions and combat. Entry the Explorer Association uneasily, Kisuke reunited with receptionist Amy beside curious Shiro. Confusion circulated quickly, following Shiro barked oddly as staring directly towards smiling receptionist Amy. Ashamed by misunderstandings, Kisuke cautiously stated Shiro communicated differently since Beast. Races used unfamiliar languages naturally. As Amy asked their odd relationship, Shiro mistakenly crushed Kisuke affectionately using overwhelming physical strength. Eventually calming himself, Kisuke boldly announced his decision, growing informal adventurer starting today permanently. Eagerness packed Amy instantly following learning Kisuke, finally gathered companions for dangerous adventurer examinations together. Patiently explaining association rules, Amy detailed risky missions requiring teamwork, preparation, and escape skills constantly. Before receiving hard tasks, Kisuke needed proving his skills across simple beginner monster extermination missions. Learning feeble beasts mentioned boldly, Shiro immediately questioned whether Kisuke could survive dangerous combat situations alone. Entirely puzzled, Shiro ignored complex explanations as Kisuke prepared examination documents beside smiling Amy. Entry thick woods cautiously, Kisuke followed energetic Shiro searching locations mentioned within examination documents. According to association records, risky wild boars recently struck people despite harmless forest behavior previously. With delicate instincts, Shiro scanned cautiously while noticing unusual smells covering surrounding forest areas completely. Concern circulated instantly when Shiro understood immense odors prevented identifying exact monster locations accurately anymore. Seconds afterward, frightening giant boars abruptly appeared, making Shiro suspect dangerous abnormalities existed everywhere. Surprise overtook Kisuke instantly following discovering enormous king boars wandering forests beyond assigned examination targets. Hearing cautiously, Shiro understood the gigantic beast accidentally caused ordinary boars attacking nearby humans frequently. Though recognizing serious danger, confident Shiro still asked permission, battling the huge king boar directly. Lacking delay, the angry king boar abruptly charged toward Shiro through collapsing forest surroundings aggressively. Left over entirely fearless, Shiro boldly dodged dangerous attacks while preparing strategies against overwhelming monster strength. Charging fearlessly forward, Shiro surprised Kisuke entirely by confronting gigantic king boars straight lacking delay. With clever movements, Shiro intentionally dodged strikes as teaching Kisuke important combat survival strategies carefully. Recognizing unknown environment quickly, Shiro manipulated terrain cautiously as confusing enormous king boars repeatedly during battle. Abruptly accelerating forward, Shiro readied strong counterattacks as approaching vulnerable areas beneath charging monsters aggressively. Seconds afterward, Shiro started devastating kicks successfully, throwing massive king boars flying across forests violently. Standing boldly, Shiro cheered, defeating risky king boars as collecting examination-proof materials successfully. Coming towards association offices, Kisuke and Shiro shocked adventurers carrying enormous monster remains together publicly. Surprised association laborers instantly asked whether inexperienced adventurers truly defeated terrifying king boars independently themselves. Careful examination confirmed odd beast characteristics, proving gigantic king boars seldom arrived within ordinary forests naturally. Leftover calm across questioning, Kisuke stated Shiro mistakenly encountered dangerous monsters beyond examination expectations previously. Despite defeating risky beasts successfully, Amy regrettably announced Kisuke and Shiro failed examinations officially. Kisuke instantly argued risky missions became failures since association workers provided incorrect monster information. Shiro became puzzled as Kisuke angrily complained about strict association rules punishing explorers unfairly. Abruptly, famous explorer Ogun arrived boldly while listening carefully toward Kisuke's complaints regarding responsibilities. Ogun criticized association decisions harshly, believing Kisuke and Shiro earned plus. Shiro deserved appreciation instead punishment today. Ogun doubted Kisuke plus Shiro, believing their beast combat story seemed completely suspicious and impossible. Ogun suggested Kisuke bought beast materials elsewhere before pretending risky missions were finished successfully yesterday. Kisuke defended Shiro boldly as Ogun asked how she beat enormous monsters without carrying weapons. Shiro became irritated hearing cautiously as Ogun kept mocking their achievements and doubting guild examination results. Abruptly, Shiro angrily neared Ogun straight, confusing everyone as showing strange gestures toward him publicly. Within the association, Amy stopped heated arguments as Shiro identified Ogun's unusual hand sign immediately. Meantime, Ogun suggested different risky challenge, wishing successful results convinced doubtful guild officials completely. Lacking delay, Shiro tolerated boldly while nervous Kisuke feared impossible strength demonstrations awaited them today. Shortly, confident warriors readied seriously, making puzzled Kisuke dragged into another unexpected adventure again. Much from settlement, the cursed village stayed dropped after mysterious incidents frightened many wandering travelers various seasons beforehand. Each resident vanished, while merchants and investigators disappeared during dangerous search missions. Believing beasts caused everything, Shiro investigated disturbing gossip nearby the quiet village with Kisuke. Association reports never identified the being, as evening visitors continuously failed returning safely from the cursed settlement. Despite growing fright, Kisuke entered the village alongside Shiro, wishing uncovering the hidden truth within. Shiro saw Kisuke withdrawing as a doubtful man continued secretly watching them from behind. Recalling the stranger's scent, Shiro cautioned Kisuke someone had trailed their movements for hours already. Thou hiding, the unknown man dodged clash as observing Kisuke and Shiro from distant shadows. Kisuke understood the figure intended investigating beasts first before driving others becoming dangerous distractions during battles. Instead of fearing, Shiro observed the doubtful man, waiting uncovering his true intentions afterward. Within the quiet village, Kisuke plus Shiro investigated dropped houses surrounding narrow, empty pathways. Abruptly, Kisuke panicked learning odd noises before discovering a frightened mouse hiding underneath floorboards. Feeling increasingly doubtful, Shiro cautioned Kisuke since the village atmosphere stayed disturbingly unnatural throughout. Carrying Kisuke easily, Shiro leapt across rooftops as cautiously searching dropped buildings for clues. Meantime, Kisuke readied King Boar Meat cautiously, wishing attracting monsters would reveal dangerous secrets. Shiro threw King Boar Meat downward, explaining unseen beasts could eventually reveal themselves across movement patterns. Shortly afterward, many rats gathered aggressively near the meat as Kisuke watched the strange situation. Within seconds, massive swarms packed drop structures, shocking Kisuke while frightened mice scattered everywhere. Finishing everything quickly, the rats went towards houses, making completely clean floors behind. Recognizing people became rat food. Kisuke comprehended why Noon discovered bodies inside the cursed village. Seeing constant rats widely, Shiro understood eliminating them would become extremely hard without stronger methods. Meantime, Kisuke found Ogun senseless outdoors, exposed while enormous rat swarms continued surrounding pathways. Since Ogun stayed senseless, Shiro chose carrying him back while Kisuke waited behind alone. Before making, Shiro cautioned Kisuke cautiously since strange dangers possibly remained hidden across village rooftops. Solo above drop structures, Kisuke observed Shiro disappear while forcing himself remaining calm throughout darkness. As Shiro moved Ogun, Kisuke asked why rats oddly ignored the unconscious man beforehand. Abruptly, Kisuke heard strange voices notice Shiro as enormous rat swarms approached from behind rapidly. Reacting, Shiro protected Ogun quickly before many rats crashed brutally towards their risky position unexpectedly. Following fleeing, Shiro thanked Kisuke since his notice prevented hidden rats launching deadly surprise attacks. Puzzled, Shiro asked Kisuke, wondering how he sensed unseen foes without actually seeing them. Learning odd voices, Kisuke understood clever rats previously used unconscious Ogun as dangerous bait. Though doubtful firstly, Shiro heard cautiously while Kisuke explained rats communicated through collective signals. Standing fearlessly above rooftops, Kisuke attempted calm negotiations as massive rat swarms gathered below. Gradually, gigantic rat shapes formed jointly, revealing frightening reasoning governing countless smaller creatures simultaneously. Seeing alongside Kisuke, Shiro eventually comprehended the cursed village concealed greater dangers than expected. Thousands of rats gathered jointly, forming collective reasoning capable of leading massive swarms efficiently widely. Seeing quietly, Kisuke plus Shiro understood the rats communicated intelligently through mysterious shared consciousness signals. Avoiding conflict quietly, Kisuke suggested people plus rats possibly coexist without unnecessary fighting someday together. Instead, the clever swarm mocked Kisuke plainly, rejecting coexistence as questioning humanity's selfish territorial conduct completely. Facing immense hostility, Kisuke comprehended talking solo could not peacefully resolve every dangerous conflict encountered. Hearing cautiously, Kisuke understood feeble rats survived because enormous groups constantly protected vulnerable companions. Sadly, clever rats fled instantly, realizing Kisuke accidentally discovered their hidden gathering location earlier. Grinning boldly, Shiro readied different strategy, explaining collective intelligence weakened without overwhelming supporting numbers. Using enchanted fox hairs, Shiro triggered wind spells able of tracking escaping rats automatically. Strong gusts struck constantly, reducing rat populations rapidly while collective intelligence gradually disappeared completely. Following strong gusts disappeared, puzzled rats wandered aimlessly while mysterious collective voices completely vanished. Thrilled boldly, Kisuke cheered Shiro since intelligent rats finally returned, becoming ordinary harmless creatures again. Recalling Shiro's scent abruptly, Kisuke understood her magical hair disappeared, following casting powerful tracking spells. Meantime, Ogun regained consciousness gradually as Shiro angrily scolded him for collapsing recklessly during investigations. Calmed, Kisuke stated risky rats disappeared already, since Shiro successfully defeated their collective intelligence completely. Following regaining consciousness gradually, Ogun discovered Kisuke plus Shiro rescued him from dangerous rat swarms. Ashamed angrily, Ogun rejected their help entirely, fearing embarrassment following collapsing helplessly during dangerous investigations. Despite rough words, Shiro felt calmed seeing Ogun alive as Kisuke observed their argument quietly. As coming jointly, Shiro stated Ogun investigated bravely, despite hiding his gratitude awkwardly inside. Back within city, Kisuke plus Shiro found Ogun reported mission completion before they arrived previously already. Surprised strongly, Shiro understood Ogun quietly valued their help despite acting rude previously toward everyone. Meantime, the association receptionist stated Ogun reported Kisuke plus Shiro solved the dangerous village investigation. Recognizing their achievements officially, the association paid Kisuke generously as offering membership options. Thrilled cheerfully, Shiro cheered following finally passing the guild examination alongside Kisuke successfully together. Afterward that night, Kisuke panicked following Shiro insisted sharing the same bedroom jointly abruptly again. Feeling comfortable alongside Kisuke, Shiro hugged him firmly as quietly falling asleep together inside bed. Sadly, Shiro mistakenly squeezed Kisuke too strongly, leading him difficulty breathing amid their close embrace. Ashamed instantly, Shiro stopped squeezing Kisuke, following learning people possessed fragile bodies compared against monsters. Apologizing softly, Shiro confessed eagerness since she seldom interacted closely with anyone previously before. Afterward, Kisuke gently stroked Shiro's eyelids cautiously as she relaxed happily beside him throughout nighttime. Following various calm days, Kisuke understood their money disappeared quickly because Shiro constantly bought expensive meals. Searching uneasily, Kisuke found leftover savings entirely vanished paying enormous food expenses recently alone. Needing funds urgently later, Kisuke chose accepting different dangerous guild requests alongside Shiro back. Within offices, Shiro cheerfully welcomed Amy while Kisuke watched their friendly relationship quietly together. Shortly, Amy presented different mission requiring Kisuke plus Shiro collecting valuable plants carefully outside town. Amy stated Kamung weed created advanced medicine capable of helping many injured humans, aiding many injured people survive. Since supplies decreased recently, the association urgently asked experienced explorers collecting rare medicinal plants. Though unknown entirely, Shiro sensed magical energy close and roughly understood the plant's hidden location already. Journeying across mountains jointly, Kisuke trailed Shiro carefully while questioning their uncertain destination, pointing towards remote cliffs. Shiro cautioned Kisuke risky monsters rarely appeared within those elevated areas. As traveling woods cautiously, Kisuke discovered a frightened slime suddenly speaking understandable human language unexpectedly. Stunned entirely, Shiro stopped striking instantly after Kisuke explained the slime wanted peaceful conversation instead. Trembling uneasily, the slime presented itself cautiously as insisting repeatedly it meant absolutely no harm. Though doubtful firstly, Shiro discovered harmless slimes possessed weak bodies incapable causing serious danger usually. With language skills, Kisuke communicated successfully with the slime, amazing it through genuine understanding completely. Feeling amazed, Shiro found the isolated slime held reasoning and communication abilities unlike ordinary monsters. Meantime, Kisuke questioned the slime about Kamung weed as Shiro heard beside them carefully together. Thrilled cheerfully, the slime volunteered guiding Kisuke plus Shiro towards hidden medicinal plants. Following the slime underground, Kisuke uneasily climbed risky cavern places searching valuable Kamung weed carefully. Seeing worriedly, Shiro invited Kisuke bravely as reminding him depending entirely about tools remained dangerous. As traveling risky caves, Kisuke abruptly slipped accidentally before falling deep underground unexpectedly below. Seeing uneasily above, Shiro said, sorry loudly as Kisuke crashed painfully against rocky cave walls repeatedly. Though concerned strongly, Shiro vowed rescuing Kisuke carefully, while ordering him remaining calm below patiently. Within dark caverns solo, Kisuke activated magical lights cautiously as searching unfamiliar underground surroundings nervously. Lacking notice abruptly, Kisuke encountered a massive snake monster staring directly toward him silently underground. Deep underground, Kisuke found a giant snake quietly sleeping as watching him inside caves. Courteously greeting Kisuke, the massive serpent said, sorry kindly, before noting humans seemed delicious and fragile creatures. Lacking delay, Shiro struck fiercely as protecting Kisuke from the dangerous snake monster hiding underground below. Oddly unharmed, the serpent ignored Shiro's attack readily as Kisuke understood terrifying scales protected everything. Examining, Kisuke saw the serpent held lethal fangs plus impossible defenses against ordinary attacks. Snarling loudly, Shiro understood her mightiest claws could never pierce the serpent's armored scales. Cautiously analyzing weaknesses, Shiro found the monster's unprotected mouth stayed vulnerable versus dangerous direct attacks from enemies. Mocking, the serpent predicted Shiro would sacrifice alone once entry, its massive jaws amid combat. Leaping forward, Shiro shattered the serpent's huge fangs before fleeing the creature's lethal mouth. Grinning, Shiro stated the serpent's strong teeth missed protection despite possessing indestructible scales everywhere else. Negotiating, Kisuke heard as the serpent cautioned Shiro stayed reckless and overconfident during battle. Abruptly striking, the serpent slammed Shiro across cavern barriers before Kisuke witnessed her fainting senseless. Seeing, Kisuke understood the serpent beat Shiro readily because her impatience exposed critical weaknesses during combat. Jumping, Kisuke struck between the serpent's scales as carrying one broken fang from beforehand battles. Recalling Shiro's account, Kisuke comprehended the borrowed fang could pierce armor hidden between scales. The serpent chuckled, taunting Kisuke as its scales stopped every attack. Gripping broken fangs, Kisuke tried Shiro's advice against supposedly unbeatable scales. Kisuke saw the monster's scales were actually usual despite scary looks. The enraged serpent struck Kisuke following recognizing its fangs were considered useless. Kisuke readied different approach as Shiro waited confidently for the incoming attack. Dodging cautiously, Kisuke lured serpent forward as Shiro readied different coordinated attack inside caverns. Stretching rapidly, Shiro trapped the serpent firmly once Kisuke exposed its mouth. Amid when Kisuke exposed its mouth during combat, roaring painfully, the serpent tried helplessly as Kisuke's odd tools held its enormous body. Grinning boldly, Shiro exposed their teamwork created openings as Kisuke secretly prepared hidden attacks. Eventually surrendering quietly, the serpent confessed people surprised her witnessing Kisuke and Shiro cooperating. Within cavern, Shiro casually bit serpent scales as Kisuke asked strange Kimong weed locations. Helpful slime led Kisuke plus Shiro deeper underground, abandoning puzzled serpent searching medicinal plants. Moving cautiously, Shiro sensed danger incoming as Kisuke noticed strange movements throughout tunnels. Following slime guidance cautiously, Kisuke plus Shiro entered doubtful tunnels as preparing against enemies. Within cavern, Kisuke stated Kimong grass heals injuries as Shiro and slime listened. Thrilled by food, Shiro imagined foods as Kisuke focused on aiding sick injured people. As journeying deeper underground, the slime thought on Kisuke's account about humans supporting others. Abruptly, uneasy feelings stopped the group. Plus the slime cautioned them about danger ahead. Past the tunnel, a gigantic cavern arrived, illuminated by openings above the rocky barriers. Kisuke questioned about Kimong grass, but the slime confessed everything had a trap starting. Seconds afterward, massive slimes encircled the cave entrance while Kisuke and Shiro watched silently. Reaching the exit, Shiro understood the odd cavern had become a risky killing ground. Above the tunnel, different blocked opening arrived, proving foes had readied the ambush earlier. Shortly, Kisuke plus Shiro encountered a gigantic slime beast, huge over the underground battlefield. The giant slime cheered Kisuke plus Shiro for living risky underground battles together. Seeing Kisuke's skills, the slime considered giving him major labor amid future hunts. Kisuke cautiously questioned if the giant slime really comprehended human speech correctly. The slime exposed it removed feeble parts as constantly seeking greater power. The being stated frailer beasts acted as bait for stronger predators. Disregarding questions, the giant slime struck plus, ordered the humans become its meal. Shiro's strikes failed since the beast absorbed each physical strike easily. Recognizing flight was hopeless, Kisuke plus Shiro prepared for a dangerous battle. Instead of rushing, Shiro suggested grueling the slime before differentially another direct attack. Laughing, the giant slime mocked people as explaining cooperation aided deceive prey. Amid combat, giant slime mocked Kisuke for protecting Shiro as battling enemies. Calmly, Kisuke stated Kimong, grass counted less since their real wish involved journeying peacefully. Holding Shiro's hand firmly, Kisuke confessed companionship meant extra than completing risky missions. Incapable to understand mortal emotions, giant slime grew angry and attacked wildly. Lacking fright, Kisuke shouted. They simply wanted freedom, regardless of where their trip kept. The little slime confessed he regretted guiding Kisuke plus Shiro into the risky trap. Overtook by guilt, the slime confessed he could no longer help the monster's actions. Though afraid, Kisuke begged the giant slime to spare everyone plus stop hurting allies. Frantically, the little slime hurried towards Kisuke as pleading for mercy from enraged creature. Eventually, slime exposed monster's hidden core ruled its form and remained greatest weakness. The giant slime mocked Kisuke's weakness as striking him alongside the afraid little slime companion. Abruptly, Kisuke protected the smaller slime from danger, plus moved him across the battlefield. Puzzled by Kisuke's kindness, the little slime confessed regret for betraying each travelers amid their journey. Calmly, Kisuke stated mistakes occurred sometimes, plus thought nobody deserved endless punishment for failure. Eventually, Kisuke vowed assistance versus the giant slime as requesting information about defeating the dangerous monster. The little slime cautioned Kisuke that the giant slime's poisonous form caused risky paralysis across contact. Holding the afraid slime, Kisuke understood reaching the hidden core seemed almost hopeless. Recalling earlier victories, Kisuke thought teamwork with Shiro could overcome different impossible challenges together. Shiro quickly comprehended the risky situation, plus scanned desperately for weaknesses against the poisonous giant slime. Boldly, Shiro created a risky approach, deciding to protect Kisuke as battling the deadly monster alone. Kisuke asked Shiro's risky approach as watching her charge toward the giant slime. Resolved to win, Shiro struck aggressively, plus became filled by the monster's poisonous body fluids. The little slime screamed frantically following. Recognizing Shiro felt dangerous poison capable of causing deadly paralysis. Floating within the slime, Shiro gradually became paralyzed as the beast prepared, digesting her completely alive. Despite everyone's alarm, Kisuke believed Shiro's judgment plus thought she already planned surviving the dangerous attack. Kisuke fled repeated strikes as protecting the little slime from the giant monster's poisonous strikes. Shiro arrived alive within the slime, plus stunned everyone watching the dangerous battle continue. The giant slime asked Shiro's escape as Kisuke comprehended her hidden strategy during combat. With wind power, Shiro encircled alone with air, avoiding direct contact with poisonous slime fluids. Changed into her strong FAFNIR form, Shiro readied striking again while astonishing both slimes with overwhelming strength. Shiro removed the giant slime's core, amazing Kisuke, as cautiously protecting the fragile sphere. Earlier destroying it, the giant slime begged frantically, demanding everyone listen cautiously first outdoors. The beast stated each slime shared one life, making the smaller slime equally vulnerable. Silently, the little slime tolerated truth plus admitted understanding his connection with everything completely. Long ago, the little slime entered different realm plus admired beasts surrounding him daily. Interest altered the slime entirely, driving him to deceive others while surviving dangerous creatures attacking constantly everywhere. Ultimately, confusion took the slime, turning him into a beast terrified by weakness and hesitation. To endure longer, the divided slime discarded painful memories and forgot his original identity. Kisuke plus Shiro showed teamwork survived, showing the slime this realm contained genuine understanding too. Regrettably, the slime thought understanding arrived too deep because he could never resemble ordinary humans. The little slime wished coming back quietly as erasing both dangerous powers from existence forever. Meeting Kisuke plus Shiro eventually aided the isolated slime discover an important answer about himself. Though accepting demise, the slime wanted Kisuke plus Shiro living safely without hatred remaining. Shiro understood the slime lied about his emotions, plus dodged admitting his true desires. Encouraging him, Shiro urged the slime choosing life since everyone would help his coming happiness. Afraid, the little slime thought parting hopeless because both slimes shared one existence completely. Meantime, Shiro suggested believed allies could overcome hopeless situations plus restore hopeful determination again. Grinning warmly, Kisuke reminded the slime they already considered him and major believed friend. Cautiously, Kisuke protected the core as noticed the giant slime versus reckless movements today. Eventually, the giant slime tolerated their challenge, recognizing fatigue would eventually decide everything there. Silently, the slime confessed fearing this realm despite wanting many discoveries alongside Kisuke and Shiro. Abruptly, the slime confessed its desire to survive, plus continue learning many unknown experiences ahead. Boldly, Shiro stated true freedom needed courage instead of constantly fearing painful struggles across life. Lacking delay, Shiro started Kisuke forward as the slime prepared, protecting everyone from danger. Abruptly, Kisuke crashed heavily alongside the slime, making Shiro stunned by the sudden violent impact. Cautiously, Kisuke invited the slime, explaining bravery already proved its hidden power plus determination. Meantime, the angry being dropped reason completely, choosing hatred instead of accepting anyone's peaceful happiness. Determinedly, the slime struck the beast, believing different kinds of power could still achieve success. Furiously, the dark being mocked the slime, claiming feeble beings could never survive personally solo. Oddly, the slime tolerated those rough words calmly as continuing resisting the monster without surrendering. Across painful experiences, the slime discovered friendship plus compassion journeying with Kisuke and Shiro. Meantime, the being confessed living alone was impossible in a dangerous, unforgiving environment. Amid clash, the slime invited honest discussion explaining solitude caused unbearable emotional suffering. Packed with rage, the dark beast ordered answers, believing slime insulted its wretched existence. Ultimately, the slime explained those painful emotions belonged entirely to the beast, not itself. Despite everything, The beast confessed hiding fright behind power while protecting its weaker counterpart. Fright ruled the smaller slime, causing its true identity scary and unacceptable for survival. Following learning, Kisuke plus Shiro comprehended the slime sacrificed itself protecting others from danger. Believing power guaranteed escape, the dark being rejected weakness plus viewed compassion as meaningless. In the end, the slime exposed each names always belonged jointly since the beginning. Gently, the slime vowed abandoning solitude, as sharing each burden beside trusted companions forever. Recalling newfound friendships, the being tolerated coming bravely toward origins instead of avoiding truths. Across the quiet field, each separated slimes gradually neared each other before reuniting together. Overtook by understanding, the slime eventually comprehended forgotten memories belonged to its separated counterpart. Seeing boldly, Kisuke cheered the slime for overcoming inner conflict plus restoring identity successfully. With renewed certainty, the restored slime thanked Kisuke plus Shiro for feeding its recovery trip. Meantime, Shiro saw odd bodily changes appearing while the slime's body adjusted unexpectedly once again. To Kisuke's complete surprise, the slime changed into a woman-like figure earlier everyone. Amused by his response, Shiro teased ashamed Kisuke as the slime stated copying appearances accidentally packed with fondness. The slime cheered people openly while Kisuke nervously requested proper clothing first instead. Interested slime heard cautiously as Shiro explained friendship, trust, and Kisuke's unusual transformation abilities. Grinning boldly, Shiro exposed emotional growth influenced the slime's surprising looks changes recently. Abruptly, shared talents proved genuine companionship survived between Kisuke, Shiro, plus their restored companion. Outdoors, the happy slime led everyone towards hidden kimon grass beside their previous campsite. Eventually, healed memories went entirely after villagers revealed originally naming the mysterious kimon grass. Shiro ashamed Kisuke following turning cheerfully, while the slime celebrated their unexpected profitable discovery. Meantime, Kisuke concerned, transporting massive supplies repeatedly weary everyone traveling across dangerous surrounding regions. The restored slime proposed informing nearby villagers, allowing struggling locals receiving kimon medicine. Incoming the huge mortal fortress, Kisuke cautiously led Shiro across the crowded entrance pathway. Within the busy lanes, uneasy Shiro trailed closely while workers and travelers hurried past. Abruptly, doubtful soldiers encircled frightened Shiro after noticing her unusual blue skin appearance. Trying to calm tensions, Kisuke instantly stated everything earlier. The misreading caused serious, unnecessary trouble. Afterward, ashamed Shiro silently dodged everyone's stares as continuing the journey beside Kisuke, calmed following entry safely. Kisuke kept walking while Shiro admired surprisingly kind human behavior. Meantime, harmless Shiro cheerfully cheered humanity, leaving Kisuke and companions completely speechless beside her. Amid their stroll, Kisuke reminded everyone about troublesome soldiers as Shiro stayed adorably unaware. Eagerness packed Shiro instantly following discovering lively festival decorations covering crowded streets throughout the bustling town. Afterward, the hostess boldly exposed matching festival outfits, surprising Kisuke and embarrassing shy little Shiro. Interested about people, Shiro innocently questioned Kisuke about the beautiful elf hostess nearby, avoiding further shyness. Kisuke altered subjects as Shiro kept admiring elegant elf lifestyles enthusiastically. Learning Shiro's honest fondness, the happy hostess suddenly hugged her tightly with overwhelming excitement. Shortly, the hostess announced exciting festival news as Kisuke heard with growing confusion beside Shiro. Within the busy building, everyone discovered about the city's largest annual combat festival event together. Grinning boldly, the hostess presented an enormous eating competition held during the crowded festival celebration. Sadly, earlier champions were always huge men, blocking smaller merchants from attracting loyal customers successfully. Seeing thrilled Shiro close, the hostess abruptly believed this year's competition results would completely change. Dreaming about success already, everyone imagined Shiro growing the festival's fabled first female devouring champion. Meantime, Kisuke invited puzzled Shiro following learning the contest rewarded participants with unlimited delicious meals. Closed locals saw little Shiro instantly while the landlady happily registered her competition participation. Trying to introduce Shiro properly, Kisuke abruptly understood Noon actually knew her real title yet. Following learning compliments from the happy hostess, innocent Shiro proudly offered awkward job recommendations. Puzzled by the sudden attention, afraid Shiro uneasily presented herself as Peru before trembling. Laughing excitedly, the hostess invited tiny Peru into different festival event alongside stunned Kisuke. Earlier the festival began. Kisuke hurried back as the hostess handled remaining important errands. Moving jointly, puzzled Peru abruptly realized she never properly decided her actual personal name before. Cautiously considering everything, Kisuke suggested choosing something memorable instead of with usual beast race names. Learning the title Peru later, thrilled Peru immediately accepted it without considering Kisuke's other complicated suggestions. Afterward, Kisuke readied protective explorer gear, helping Peru blend naturally into crowded human society. Concerned Peru suspected the observant hostess already identified her hidden slime identity under human disguises. Facing massive festival crowds, afraid Peru considered hiding cautiously as Kisuke encouraged confident attention instead. Meantime, the energetic hostess boldly announced the grand food combat competition before cheering festival visitors. Despite trusting Kisuke entirely, uneasy Peru still doubted whether joining publicly stayed entirely safe today. Near the huge meal table, threatening contestants silently observed tiny Peru preparing herself for competition. Puzzled Peru uneasily watched many strangers, wondering why every human appeared completely different from others. Amid the lively festival, Kisuke stated odd visitors aided Peru avoid suspicious, unnecessary public attention today. Abruptly, resolved Kisuke exposed his ambitious plan for Peru winning the massive eating competition successfully. Stunned Peru instantly rejected everything, believing tougher participants would readily defeat inexperienced tiny competitors instead. Grinning boldly, Kisuke vowed victorious Peru would eventually live freely without constantly hiding herself anymore. Confident Shiro tolerated Kisuke's odd approach, caring merely about eating delicious festival food during competition. Shortly, laborers delivered massive meat dishes as excited spectators gathered around crowded competition tables eagerly. Following the opening announcement, contestants instantly began the intense food combat earlier roaring festival audiences widely. Cautiously recalling orders, focused Peru readied hiding beneath tables while secretly consuming enormous quantities quickly. Earlier, everything began entirely. Shiro calmly neared Peru and prepared sharing one important final warning. Angry Shiro rejected Kisuke's approach entirely, declining intentional defeat during serious competition under any circumstances. Resolved Shiro confessed manipulating Peru beforehand, since achieving absolute victory remained her only important personal goal. Lacking delay, competitive Shiro instantly accelerated dramatically, amazing Peru and shocking every watching contestant completely. Meantime, frightened Kisuke observed unstoppable Shiro devour massive meals faster than previously imaginable before crowds everywhere. Across nearby tables, weary contestants tried frantically while witnessing Shiro's overwhelming eating abilities dominating everyone. Thrilled festival crowds passionately supported Shiro, turning her inside everyone's favorite contestant there. Seeing frightening movements, Peru understood competitive Shiro no longer behaved like usual humans anymore. Meantime, unstoppable Shiro kept eating huge dishes rapidly, frightening Peru with unnatural eating abilities. Learning constant cheers widely, quiet Peru slowly understood Shiro attracted admiration instead of suspicion. Eventually, thoughtful Peru understood genuine individuality counted extra than imitating ordinary human behavior constantly. Resolved Peru stopped acting obediently, plus eventually confronted Shiro seriously during fierce competition together. Seeing cautiously, stunned spectators eventually realized slime Peru consumed meals without chewing any food whatsoever. Puzzled contestants witnessed rapidly accelerating Peru, abruptly fitting Shiro's immense, terrifying eating speed perfectly. Driven by intense rivalry, weary participants surrendered early as Peru plus Shiro stayed competing fiercely alone. Earlier cheering audiences, monstrous Peru changed dramatically as struggling endlessly versus unstoppable competitive Shiro publicly. Sweating heavily, weary Shiro eventually understood resolved Peru intended defeating her completely during competition. Misreading Shiro's suggestion entirely, harmless Peru cheerfully tolerated surrendering as another competition challenge instead. As working endlessly, thoughtful Peru abruptly comprehended ordinary creatures possessed unavoidable consumption limits naturally. Declaring limitless endurance boldly, unstoppable Peru overtook weary Shiro. Earlier collapsing chairs shocked everyone. Following the incredible finale, cheering spectators cheered victorious Peru as contestants observed speechlessly below. Grinning boldly, victorious Peru received her trophy as weary Shiro collapsed silently behind everyone. Though beat painfully, wretched Shiro confessed Peru enjoyed acceptance and recognition throughout today's crowded festival. Afterward, kind-hearted Kisuke readied aiding Peru settle safely inside their temporary inn room together. Still ashamed by losing entirely, depressed Shiro dramatically insisted sleeping outdoors, lacking comfortable beds tonight. Abruptly, harmless Peru offered feeding weary Shiro physically, completely shocking Kisuke beyond imagination immediately. Ashamed Kisuke rejected Peru's invitation, as thankful Peru kept praising exhausted Shiro sincerely. Outdoors under calm skies, happy Peru promised Kisuke incredible relaxation despite Shiro's growing frustration tonight. Combing back abruptly, stunned Kisuke discovered countless tiny slimes moving freely throughout Peru's crowded room. Grinning boldly, Peru exposed each tiny slime creature inside the room. Actually represented herself completely. Explaining cautiously, Peru detailed emotional slime duplication skills, scary Kisuke and confused Shiro. Interested Kisuke watched Peru's separated slime bodies expressing entirely different emotions, plus interests independently, calmly explaining alone. Peru exposed separated slimes stayed connected, since pieces represented her identity. Abruptly, one mischievous slime neared a shamed Kisuke inquisitively, while Shiro warned everyone about boundaries. Learning odd confessions instantly puzzled. Shiro surprisingly admitted interest regarding Kisuke's human body too. Within seconds, wild slimes held fearing Kisuke as excited Shiro aggressively removed his clothing. Careful Shiro stopped mischievous Peru instantly as ashamed Kisuke observed dangerous slime behavior unfold. Across winding roads, Kisuke led Shiro plus allies towards the towering volcano settlement peacefully. Within the shaking carriage, Shiro endured awful motion sickness as nearby companions panicked. Aiding cautiously, Kisuke advised weary Shiro, seeing distant scenery while breathing cooler mountain winds. Amid different pause, concerned travelers asked resting briefly before Shiro's sickness affected everyone nearby too. Eventually reaching volcano region, the group admired massive mountains supplying lava, coal, plus useful ironware. As journeying onward, Kisuke stated mortal technology, impressing companions carrying crafted metal containers carefully. Outdoors the busy carriage, Shiro abruptly saw a mysterious woman silently watching their traveling group. Recognizing known features, the odd woman neared Shiro cheerfully after many years separated unexpectedly before. Puzzled emotions arrived since the woman asked Shiro's appearance alongside ordinary human travelers today. With language skills, Kisuke comprehended everything immediately, while frustrated Shiro angrily rejected further unnecessary attention. Abruptly, Vakata embraced Shiro firmly earlier, carrying her across skies with immense excitement forcefully. Under flying cover, frightened Kisuke observed struggling Shiro hanging helplessly above distant forest paths below. Recognizing instant danger, Kisuke chased Vata quickly as allies questioned her strangely cheerful expressions nervously. Amid flight, obsessed Vata confessed constant affection towards Shiro despite desperate resistance plus continuous struggling repeatedly. Eventually recalling everything clearly, weary Shiro identified Vata as persistent birdwoman following her previously everywhere. Flying above woods, Vata angrily corrected Shiro as boldly revealing her true phoenix identity publicly. As dangling helplessly, Shiro asked Vaka's changed looks and criticized traveling alongside ordinary humans recently. With risky wind power, Vaka deliberately increased crashing risks as expressing obsessive affection toward Shiro. Disregarding afraid responses, Vahata insisted shared happiness meant Shiro accepting constant affection without resistance completely today. Amid wild struggling, Shiro brutally struck Vahata's face before both lost balance midair together. Suddenly, falling rapidly downward, Shiro crashed safely within slime as calmed allies celebrated successful rescue enthusiastically together. Hovering angrily above woods, Vata asked Shiro's rejection despite expressing immense affection constantly toward her repeatedly. Standing alongside Kisuke, puzzled Shiro stated Vata constantly acted protective, lacking receiving permission from anyone. Boldly introducing alone, Vata called her phoenix title dramatically, as praising unmatched elegance and beauty publicly. Hearing cautiously, Kisuke understood Shiro considered Vakata troublesome as companions awkwardly accepted another strange traveler. Grinning warmly, Vakata reminded Shiro they when shared youthful memories within the same peaceful nesting grounds. Recalling painful captivity, Shiro stated fleeing chains atop massive trees required tremendous effort and determination. Disgusted entirely, Vata detailed humans below as filthy beasts unworthy existing beside precious phoenixes anywhere today. Wanting closer bonds, Vata discovered FAFNIR speech solely protecting Shiro from risky mortal influences. Learning everything, Kisuke understood Shiro considered Vata troublesome regardless enemy or believed companion status. Speaking harshly, Vata insulted humans, as noticed Kisuke versus becoming overly confident beside phoenixes today. Hostile violence plainly, angry Vata called destroying anyone defending her would face burning consequences. Moving abruptly, Shiro struck Vata straight earlier. Both crashed violently across open skies during confrontation. Puzzled entirely, Vata ordered explanations frantically after witnessing Shiro risking herself protecting vulnerable humans today. Seeing quietly, Kisuke understood Vata viewed speech merely controlling weaker individuals instead, meaningful communication between people. Leftover wary, Kisuke stated defeating immortal Vata straight created meaningless conflict without possible victory against phoenixes. Feeling uncertain, Vata asked whether aiding people meant abandoning phoenix pride, plus becoming obedient livestock. Lifting burning claws, resolved Vata announced purifying humans as dismissing destruction as simple pest removal. Seeing uneasily, Shiro understood Vata's flames endangered everyone before protective slime absorbed dangerous attacks. Encircled by intense flames, resilient slime protected allies entirely as declaring immunity against burning attacks. Watching cautiously, slime stated water naturally countered Vata's flames, despite immense phoenix power during combat. Puzzled strongly, Vata asked odd slime creatures existing beside humans while examining opponents cautiously. Getting strikes quickly, slime filled Shiro's hand completely before targeting immortal Vata directly during battle. Standing boldly, resolved Shiro combined defensive slime techniques protecting arms from risky phoenix flames effectively. Rushing forward instantly, Shiro landed strong slime, covered punches straight across Vata's stunned face successfully. Striking constantly, Shiro soaked Vata entirely as companions celebrated successful hits against powerful phoenixes together. Leftover calm, Vata mocked slime strategies boldly, as criticizing feeble creatures relying upon desperate plans. Explaining boldly, Vata exposed magical flames kept burning underwater since fire originated from internal magic sources. Floating boldly above flames, Vata called Phoenix power strongly surpassed water despite elemental disadvantages amid combat. Growing concerned quietly, allies understood defeating Vata seemed impossible while Shiro still insisted protecting everyone. Shiro kept Kisuke plus Vata choosing sacrifices as Puru abruptly jumped between their dangerous argument. Puru silently saw odd movements close, making Shiro and Kisuke carefully observe the silent forest. Puru panicked plus fled wildly, rejecting friendship with Kisuke, Vaka, plus furious Shiro beside them. Puru insisted Shiro would protect Kisuke first, then fled quickly, making everyone entirely puzzled. Shiro angrily observed fleeing Puru, incapable sense his odd behavior and sudden terrified reaction anymore. Shiro angrily chased Puru, believing he dropped friends, plus selfishly endangered everyone amid their conflict. Dark liquid beasts abruptly encircled Shiro, pausing her attack while Puru carefully watched. Puru exposed hidden foes underground, explaining Shiro ignored danger since she focused entirely striking him. Puru compared fleeing prey-chased lions, noting separated foes always attracted ruthless monsters toward weaker individuals. Shiro furiously resisted embarrassment, getting strongest flames versus Puru as proving their overwhelming power difference. Puru borrowed odd mortal technology, covering Shiro entirely with hard rock. Like materials amid their fierce battle, Shiro understood the hardened substance was clay, leading her certainty instantly disappear from overwhelming shock. Pururu stated underground beasts quietly gathered earth materials beforehand, trapping Shiro inside thick clay armor. Shiro frantically suppressed flames earlier, clay hardened further, struggling helplessly versus Puru's sudden tactical preparation. Vata abruptly neared calmly, offering wind assistance as Shiro uneasily feared stronger flames spreading uncontrollably everywhere. Vata combined fire, water, wind, plus earth techniques, entirely immobilizing angry Shiro under hardened elemental prison. Shiro gradually tolerated beat within enormous hardened structure, while Puru quietly observed her confused expression. Vata admired trapped Shiro like magnificent statue as Kisuke awkwardly observed Puru celebrate their successful approach jointly. Puru cheerfully cheered Vata's reasoning, thanking her warmly for sense his dangerous plan against Shiro. Kisuke readied coming arrangements. As Vata moved tiny Pururu, planning restore his original size after returning town. Shiro observed Vata praising Puru, quietly wanting recognition plus fairness from Vata alone too someday. Trapped Shiro cried embarrassingly, begging Vata praise her too as hiding immense embarrassment plus sadness inside. Vata asked Shiro's motives, discovering solitude plus desperate desires behind Shiro's aggressive actions towards everyone. Vaata stated genuine respect needed kindness, since power alone never truly impressed or protected others. Vaata invited Shiro joining everyone, promising friendship plus help past isolated lonely forest life. Shiro presented alone alongside Kisuke plus Peru, hoping Vaata remembered their names sincerely forever. Kisuke hurried towards carriage with Peru, as Shiro silently watched their cheerful movements silently. Vasata detailed calm places where Shiro could eventually relax safely beside trusted companions together. Shiro emotionally tolerated everyone, declaring alone their devoted supporter as strange magical aura appeared suddenly. Travelers safely went jointly, apologizing honestly as relieved companions warmly welcomed Kisuke and others home peacefully. Kisuke stated risky beast combat, while worried villagers listened carefully without abandoning everyone. Kisuke said, sorry honestly as aiding unload supplies, successfully calming frustrated villagers through surprisingly impressive social skills. Villagers readied roasted chicken dinner under massive volcanic mountain nearby their isolated settlement during nighttime. Shiro excitedly presented famous volcanic hot springs, insisting everyone bathe jointly earlier, having delicious dinner tonight. Ashamed Kisuke hesitated joining bath jointly, as happy Shiro encouraged adapting local customs comfortably together. Shiro keenly offered washing Kisuke today, as ashamed Peru misunderstood their odd bathing situation. Kisuke concerned Peru might melt bathing, but Peru absorbed water plus endured instead. Near the ruined pathway, Kisuke abruptly saw Shiro moving silently across heavy darkness. Cautiously seeing nearby cliffs, the beastman sensed danger incoming their isolated traveling route ahead. Across the quiet battlefield, lethal fragrance encircled close corpses and warned everyone about hidden enemies. Following their grueling flight, each travelers eventually reached Volcano Town beneath the cold evening sky. Within the lively restaurant, starving Shiro excitedly finished warm foods as Kisuke observed peacefully. Excitedly scanning odd dishes, Shiro ordered massive foods, while Kisuke nervously checked expensive menu prices. Following reading, Kisuke found bizarre nearby meals that immediately attracted Shiro's endless curiosity. Shortly, steaming grilled harpo crater arrived dramatically earlier, everyone sitting near the busy restaurant. Lacking delay, starving Shiro keenly devoured massive meat portions while shocked customers watched silently. Meantime, the happy restaurant owner boldly stated spicy turkey dishes strengthening travelers during volcanic summer nights. Amid dinner, Volcano Town's owner identified Kisuke's group as respected travelers seeing close regions. Afterward that night, Shiro found phoenix statues protecting locals throughout Volcano Town's crowded central square. Examining ancient carvings, Kisuke interpreted strange warnings written under the weathered stone monument, above glowing roads. Shiro admired blazing town lights as Kisuke considered hidden meanings behind ancient warnings. Moving alongside busy structures, Kisuke impressed nearby companions after successfully reading forgotten historical Phoenix language. Within the sacred hall, an elderly priest stated Phoenix teachings guiding Volcano Town's faithful locals forever. Introducing himself, the Muscular Association leader detailed Harpo Kratom, protecting residents across strong ancient teachings. Under clear city lights, Kisuke presented happy allies Shiro and Pororo, beside welcoming local townspeople. Interested about nearby legends, Kisuke asked detailed stories regarding Harpo Kratom's strange guardian origins. As recalling youthful experiences, the elderly priest detailed Harpo Kratom rescuing him from dangerous monsters. Long ago, Harpo Kratom kindly saved helpless children, revealing her sacred presence before frightened villagers. According to ancient customs, Volcano City endured personally after Harpo Kratom suddenly disappeared many decades, alongside the quiet monument. Kisuke wondered thoughtfully whether disappearing guardian deities ultimately dropped faithful human civilizations. Grinning, Kisuke suggested Harpo Kratom possibly stayed close despite many citizens believing otherwise completely. Meantime, weary Shiro rested safely, as Kisuke questioned recent incidents involving missing divine guardians. Recently found corpses near Volcano City exposed frightening deaths, leaving frightened citizens deeply concerned. Following learning details, Shiro identified different dangerous monster causing mysterious deaths throughout regions. Abruptly recalling ancient legends, Kisuke identified Rakshasa, the frightening demon consuming reduced victims mercilessly amid nighttime. According to Shiro, Rakshasa targeted hopeless souls constantly earlier, brutally tearing reduced spirits from unfortunate victims. Watching nearby lanes, Shiro stated Rakshasa hunted victims efficiently using lingering scents from approaching death. As discussing recent dangers, Shiro boldly assured Kisuke Rakshasa seldom targeted emotionally stable travelers. Harpo Kratom brutally shattered close barriers earlier, escaping quickly through Volcano Town's crowded streets. Seconds afterward, Harpo Kratom cornered frightened Kisuke aggressively, finally locating her long-awaited mysterious target. Holding Kisuke, Harpo Kratom endangered everyone close, as noticed Shiro against reckless interference. Lacking displaying delay, Shiro faced Harpo Kratom directly, and demanded revenge involving Kisuke personally instead. Learning Harpo Kratom mention their names, Kisuke understood she moved no murderous intentions at all. Ashamed seconds afterward, Harpo Kratom confessed unsuccessfully attempting friendly conversations before terrifying everyone. Relaxing safely, Harpo Kratom stated honestly that payback never curious her against Shiro personally anymore. Still feeling doubtful, Kisuke asked Harpo Kratom's risky conduct despite her unexpectedly calm attitude throughout everything. Grinning, Harpo Kratom exposed lifelong fright taught her respecting strong opponents equally without discrimination. Watching Volcano City, Kisuke understood Harpo Kratom protected locals without ruling them through fear. Meantime, Puroro found tasty nearby dishes, carrying Harpo Kratom's respected legendary name throughout Volcano Town. Standing above glowing lanes, Harpo Kratom eventually confessed quietly protecting Phoenix lands from dangerous threats. Feeling ashamed, Harpo Kratom uneasily stated people discovering her identity created overwhelming pressure. Early making, Harpo Kratom cautioned everyone avoiding Rakshasa matters unless totally necessary for survival. Laughing, Haru claimed Harpo Kratom's leftover life belonged entirely under her safety forever. Meantime, Kisuke understood immortal Rakshasa stayed powerless versus Haru's phoenix abilities and mortality. Since Haru's intentions, Shiro advised Kisuke avoiding interference within Harpo Kratom's risky own matters. Grinning, Haru thought Kisuke already identified the conflict's true underlying emotional burden. Worried, Kisuke asked why Haru ignored villagers despite faithfully serving their guardian obligations. Concerned, Kisuke feared Haru kept battling risky enemies entirely without trusted companions supporting her. Annoyed, Haru rejected Kisuke's interference as notice interest created needless trouble for everyone. Resolved, Haru vowed defeating Rakshasa directly earlier, ordering Kisuke returning safely home. Flying swiftly across rooftops, Haru ignored property damage as villagers complained loudly about costly repairs. Standing solo, Harpo Kratom identified Haru incoming, sensing her familiar phoenix presence approaching. Descending, Haru faced Rakshasa straight following centuries, avoiding their inevitable lethal reunion. Under moonshine, Harpo Kratom compared himself plus Haru as opposing symbols leading demise and life. Seriously notice Harpo Kratom insisted unchangeable natural laws guaranteed death's success versus each living creature. Facing Harpo Kratom, Haru tolerated inevitable endings as acknowledging his role representing demise forever. Abruptly recognizing everything, Kisuke comprehended Rakshasa chased Haru because phoenixes carried death's overwhelming scent. Explaining cautiously, Kisuke understood Harpo Kratom intentionally entered Phoenix territory seeking Haru from starting. Facing Harpo Kratom exposed hopeless ambitions chasing immortality, despite immense dangerous consequences everywhere. Meantime, Kisuke doubted interfering as Shiro calmly dismissed Harpo Kratom's risky ongoing conflict entirely. Lacking delay, Haru hurried forward aggressively, driving Harpo Kratom retreating across the ruined battlefield. Burdened by tragedy, Harpo Kratom recalled his slaughtered clan yet kept honor across unbearable suffering. Following his resolve, Haru readied herself carefully before continuing their intense, deadly confrontation. Amid the fierce clash, Harpo Kratom abruptly counterattacked, pausing Haru's assault with chained weapons skillfully. Abruptly overtook, Haru screamed painfully following sharp strikes pierced both wings during combat fiercely. Close Harpo Kratom blocked flying boulders boldly as mocking Haru's hopeless challenge against death itself. Despite fatigue, Haru kept battling bravely, though Harpo Kratom abruptly shattered her advancing attack completely. Calmly enduring injuries, Harpo Kratom called fleeting life's value as disregarding demise approaching nearby silently. Packed with desperation, Haru unleashed huge explosions repeatedly, yet Harpo Kratom endured the devastating damage. Took by rage, Haru changed terrifyingly as Harpo Kratom instantly recognized death approaching rapidly overhead. Breathing heavily, Haru unleashed violent power strikes, though Harpo Kratom calmly tolerated immense destruction. Seeing cautiously, Harpo Kratom criticized Haru's fatigue, claiming reduced determination prevented defeating stronger enemies. With harsh certainty, Harpo Kratom mocked Haru repeatedly, reminding her declining power worsened regularly throughout battles. Cornered helplessly, Haru panicked following Harpo. Kratom dodged easily, plus condemned her pathetic struggling mercilessly. Declining surrender, Haru fiercely seized Harpo Kratom, declaring absolute success despite frightening overwhelming power. Staring fearlessly ahead, Haru confronted inevitable demise as hostile Harpo Kratom's fate without hesitation anymore. According to Harpo Kratom, each living being ultimately perished earlier, restoring balance throughout existence. Naturally, long ago, Harpo Kratom destroyed immortality. Seeking civilizations following their forbidden power created constant worldwide chaos. Searching ruined lands, Harpo Kratom found living voices close earlier, cautiously approaching mysterious abandoned belongings. Quietly watching close, Harpo Kratom understood fragile creatures continued struggling desperately, despite hopeless destruction everywhere. Afterward, Harpo Kratom quietly cared for orphaned children, gradually learning usual happiness across simple daily moments. Energetic children excitedly welcomed Harpo Kratom each dawn, filling empty environment with cheerful, unstoppable warmth constantly, grinning brightly. One child gifted blossoms boldly, believing kindness naturally circulated precious life energy everywhere. Overcome with guilt, Harpo Kratom confessed, destroying many families earlier, naming himself inevitable demise sorrowfully. Regrettably accepting truth, Harpo Kratom observed beloved children disappear forever past distant peaceful horizons. Recalling precious memories, Harpo Kratom invited living children working life happily somewhere far away. Earlier fleeing Harpo Kratom abruptly seized Haru brutally, completely overwhelming her exhausted, weakened body instantly. Dragging Harpo Kratom lifted her easily as blood filled their brutal battlefield environment entirely. Seeing severe injuries, Harpo Kratom asked Haru's failing regeneration following grueling every remaining magical reserve. Wary entirely, Haru regretted aiding people after unintentionally spreading misery among everyone surrounding her. Meantime, Harpo Kratom mocked weakness boldly, recalling abandoning allies while pursuing overwhelming strength relentlessly throughout life. Repulsed deeply, Harpo Kratom claimed immortality never fitted fragile individuals trapped within miserable emotional suffering. Lacking sympathy, Harpo Kratom readied stealing immortality's power straight from Haru with his cursed lineage. Silently grinning, Haru asked whether Harpo Kratom really desired replacing her eternal lonely existence. Tightly accepting sacrifice, Harpo Kratom called himself Haru's inevitable demise despite her desperate resistance. Losing certainty, Haru understood defeating immortal Harpo Kratom stayed utterly hopeless through ordinary strength alone. Overtook by despair, Haru confessed own failure as remembering Vahata before collapsing emotionally inside herself. Abruptly seeming close, massive FAFNIR attacked fiercely, shocking Harpo Kratom with memories from previous battles, defensively roaring. FAFNIR declared Harpo Kratom belonged solely to him before threatening Haru, quietly explaining FAFNIR showed Haru immortality never erased pain or emotional suffering. Sensed deeply, FAFNIR exposed lasting pain moved meaning. Unlike Haru before believed throughout countless battles, enraged, Harpo Kratom struck furiously following FAFNIR, asked his selfish ambitions plus destructive obsession. Abruptly arriving, afraid villagers defended Harpo Kratom despite FAFNIR's frightening immense appearance before everyone. Following learning Kisuke's notice, villagers encircled Harpo Kratom protectively, shocking him with unexpected compassion. Silently reflecting, FAFNIR reminded Harpo Kratom everyone gathered when jointly under his safety. Puzzled entirely, Harpo Kratom asked why villagers risked themselves protecting someone feared as demise. Resolved villagers answered, explaining escape, plus immortality driven them through Harpo Kratom's extraordinary existence. Learning their words, Haru invited Harpo Kratom calmly, reminding strong rulers carried overwhelming responsibilities. Hovering above everyone, FAFNIR urged Harpo Kratom sincerely, confronting buried emotions hidden inside himself. Furiously encircled, Rakshasa mocked humans as villagers kept resisting his terrifying threats stubbornly together. Driven by courage, resolved warriors struck fearlessly, vowing surpassing Harpo Kratom across overwhelming collective strength someday. Roaring brutally, Rakshasa rejected cooperation entirely earlier, mercilessly slaughtering defenseless, frightened villagers. Stepping forward, Haru blocked Rakshasa's rampage, declining allowing different merciless Shinigami emerging later, eventually ending everything. Haru pierced Rakshasa fatally as receiving thankful final words from Harpo Kratom. Weakly grinning Harpo. Kratom understood Haru's power eventually went before accepting inevitable peaceful death. Dawn daylight arrived, as happy birds welcomed another peaceful beginning across distant empty fields. Thrilled children instantly roused Harpo Kratom, cheerfully celebrating another ordinary morning together beside Haru. Grinning Haru embraced thankful children as accepting calm memories from Harpo Kratom's meaningful former existence. Seeing sunrise, Haru reminded Harpo Kratom each painful night ultimately welcomed different hopeful morning. At calm last, Harpo Kratom tolerated demise silently, believing everything finally ended exactly as intended. Holding palms, Haru walked forward alongside grinning children as embracing death's lingering peaceful presence. Coming, Kisuke discovered Harpo Kratom's tragic history as Haru casually dismissed her heroic actions. Facing constant skies, Haru thought Harpo Kratom earned freedom instead of eternal confinement within suffering forever, cheerfully suggesting Shiro invited Harpo Kratom revisiting city despite eventually achieving calm freedom. Inquisitively incoming Haru, Shiro asked why strong flames never damaged her mysterious feathered clothing. Boldly explaining details, Haru exposed ancient tailors' crafted outfits entirely away her magical feathers long ago. Amazed entirely, Shiro discovered single feathers held extraordinary fire resistance, useful beyond ordinary human imagination. Boasting boldly, Haru detailed regenerative enchanted clothing repairing itself whenever magical energy felt damaged fabric, incapable resisting temptation. Shiro tested regeneration, revealing Haru's embarrassing pink undergarments earlier stunned everyone. Ashamed, Haru filled alone uneasily after regenerative clothing exposed her before shocked companions.